Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Final Fantasy Brave Exodus video, in fact. And this is gonna be different from my other reviews because I've been looking at things online. I was watching some things today about, you know, people who have successful YouTube channels and they don't improve, so they've been falling off and stagnating. And that's what I've been feeling. I've been feeling like I've been stagnating, haven't been really changing anything up. So this review is going to be completely different than my other ones. We're going to actually be comparing, we're going to be talking about dark vision's capabilities and things like that. So this review is going to be completely different compared to my other reviews in that regard. We're still going to be using the same screen here, but it's going to be we're not going to be listing all that stuff there and talking about like I usually do. We're going to be talking about comparing her to Aerith and all the things that she can do versus what Aerith can do and things like that. And future applications, things that may be changing the game and the landscape of the game might be changing and things like that. So we're gonna be doing that today instead of my usual sticked. And I'm gonna try to improve myself as much as I can for you guys, because I know I've been stagnating. I know you guys are getting bored of all the things that I usually do because I'm not changing. So I'm gonna try my best to change. So first of all, what I did is I put the TMR in. And the TMR is actually pretty decent. Some physical, magical, avian, and demon killer. Now keep in mind, guys, this is actually a premium unit, so of course they're going to give the TMR slightly better use than if it were not. However, a lot of the premium units TMR is actually not that amazing. Like look at Sephiroth, for example, is really not that amazing. Look at Tifa's, for example, it's not that amazing. However, this is pretty good. If you get multiples of this TMR, I would definitely recommend getting them because avian killer and demon killer, you never know, maybe in Clash of Wills you may encounter an avian and demon boss. I mean, I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to run into that kind of situation where they roll the dice and say, hey, we threw the dartboard, we threw a dart at the dartboard and landed on avian and demon. So you never know when that could be useful. And keep in mind, guys, the P and M means physical and magical, so it means both sides will work on that. That STMR is quite good as well. 100 Spirit, so a lot of spirit-based damage dealers or tanks or anything like that would like to have that. But 80 magic as well is quite high. 50% dark resistance, pretty good. And then strangely, it's beast and aquatic killer instead of avian and demon killer. So I guess a variety here. So it's not just the same old. I mean, beast and aquatic killer would be a very nice addition there. So very nice. And I'm pretty sure the Second Emperor thing is more like a tagline on these new sets of units here, like a branding more than being accurate, because the title officially is Fina Second Emperor, but obviously that would not be actually correct, but I'm pretty sure this is more like a tagline, guys. Anyways, what she can do is she can chain with Bolting Strike and CWA because of it, the +2 enhancement to her light chaining. So that's the thing. She also has Bahamut Summon, which is much more accessible than the Draconian Princess Fina, where it was awkward to use because you basically lost a turn of damage, but she didn't have infinite turns. Whereas this time you don't have to worry about anything like that. Just summon Bahamut, you get a 30% light amp, which will stack on top of that 45% light amp that she currently has. So her LB is nothing really that special. It's more or less the same as we've always been getting. But the SLB is a little more interesting. 300% low burst damage buff, pretty good. Still 45% light amp though. I would have liked that been up a little bit more, but I guess they're trading out that because they don't want to give too much out because that 30% light amp that you also get on the Bahamut Summon. So pretty good. She has a lot of auto erase abilities, which in the current landscape probably won't be that useful. She also has triple cast. She has a lot of healing abilities, a lot of green magic and things like that, so it could be useful in the future as well. I'm pretty sure this unit will be more like something that will be more useful in the future, like Roka, for example. Roka on release on the GB version and probably on the global version as well, most likely. Well, it wasn't that interesting or useful, but nowadays Roka is very useful for Graph, for example. Graph is only probably one of many units that will probably be like that. So maybe in the future there will be trials finally coming out in the game. I'm pretty sure, hopefully in the future, where trials will be useful again and re-raids will be necessary. But until that time happens, re-raids really isn't that needed. However, the 100% light and dark resistance is quite good. The bow and parallel she has is really I mean, bows are kind of like a meme, not really that useful. So I can't see you guys going out and just equipping bows on everybody. Yes, there is that gun in peril on the global version, which everybody's going for, but there aren't really that many bows in the game, and a lot of them are really not that good. So I wouldn't go out on my way to do this. Maybe in the future there'll be more bows, because really the only good bow in the game is Furion's Estimar, the Neovision version. So probably not many people are probably going to have that. So anyways, let's compare her to Aerith. Aerith has a Brave Shift form, so she has more accessibility to being able to do fire, tag chaining, fire imbues, and there's no problem with doing a Brave Shift and Loop Burst because it gives the same buff, and it also gives a fire amp, but there's no imbues. Now, granted, one thing that this unit, this Fina is much better than Aerith at is that in her LB and SLB don't have any light imbues on them at all. So, unlike Aerith, who basically you're stuck with doing a light imbue if you don't want light, but you don't want that stat buff, you are stuck with having a light imbue. But on this Fina, you don't have to worry about that. Her imbue is on a normal ability, so you won't have to worry about anything like that. That's one positive for Fina, and could be helpful for Dark Visions in the future, because maybe you don't want light imbue, but you want to have 300% stat buff, or 300% Lone Burst damage buff and 400% stat buff, and maybe a bow in peril in there too, and you don't have to worry about any imbues, which is good. But if you did, you could do that in the Bahamut summon, so that'd be a huge amount of light damage going your way compared to Aerith. Aerith does not have obviously Aerith doesn't have a light Bahamut summon, so there's that. They both have LB fill at the start of turn as long as you get to a certain EX level. The EX3 Awakening for Evian Killer buff for Fina is really not that interesting or useful, really. I don't think you would really care too much about that, so not as interesting, but it's still a thing, I suppose. And so one big knockoff is what's going to happen with Fina. I think most people are going to talk about is she doesn't have holy. She has no holy finisher like Aerith does. As of this video, I don't think she has any. The wiki didn't look like the wiki didn't have any. The only light thing that she has in her magic is the light CWA chaining, which can be enhanced to +2. So she has no holy in her kit at all, no Banshika or anything like that. So that's a big drawback for a lot of people, including me, because a lot of people are going to be using holy in Dark Visions, for example. So if you're bringing her along to wanting to be a finisher, she has no finishing capabilities whatsoever, literally none. So if you want her to be a finisher, unfortunately that's not going to be the case. However, you could have her as a 4x CWA light chainer, because you can give her Airness Ring, which will give her quad cast permanently for magic. So she does have that magic, I believe. So that's one positive. One negative, of course, like the holy thing, and a lot of other things, like she has 200% killers for everything and 300% demon killer, but it's really not useful besides Dark Visions. Pretty good otherwise. One positive thing Aerith has, like I mentioned before, she has a Brave Shift form, so you could do something like I did in my Dark Vision clear recently, is I put something like in terms of like a 10,000 needles on her Brave Shift form, and then shift over to her base form that we won't have to worry about equipping 10,000 needles. This Fina won't be able to do that, for example, because she's an SLB unit, so she doesn't have Brave Shift form. So that's a negative. Overall, Fina is more like a chainer in Dark Visions, and you can do a lot of things like light buffs and Bahamut Summon, which probably for light teams that's probably going to put you over the edge versus Aerith. But if you're looking for a holy finisher in that slot, and also having all those buffs that Aerith can do, you're going to be in for a problem. So you're basically trading out holy capping for 30% light amp buff plus the 45%. That's what it's coming down to, guys. It's the Bahamut Summon, which won't do much damage, by the way. Even 3-star won't do much damage. You guys should know that by now. 30% light amp plus 45% light amp, which will stack, like I mentioned. Area effects will stack with regular buffs, versus being able to tag chain, being able to holy cap, not being as restricted because you have a Brave Shift form. So there's a weight balance here, guys. And most people are probably going to say, I have Aerith already, She's already still very good, and she's still good, by the way, even on the JP version, even now, because I just used her recently. Most people are probably going to say, I have Aerith, why? I got it for free, why should I pull for this Fina? And currently, I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. The Bahamut summon plus the bow and peril may be useful in the future, guys. This may be a tactic that people use in Dark Visions in the future to have that 30% light amp, plus the 45% light amp, plus the 30% bow and peril. For maybe you'll put that on, get a whole bunch of Fury. That's mostly for whales, I know, but you get a bunch of Fury and STMRs or whatever the bow is in the future, Dark Vision's bow, and you'll put it on people and have a 30% bow and peril and go crazy with that. I suppose that might be a tactic in the future that you guys might be looking for. So in the end, for Dark Visions, I'm gonna go ahead and give her an 8.5 because there is a possibility of her hitting big. I've realized now, after doing Dark Visions quite a lot now on the global version, that some things are just better than they seem. So the 30% light amp might put you over the edge in terms of some scores. On the other end, you're not gonna have the holy cap, unfortunately. But I think you might be able to make do with other stuff instead of that. So in terms of regular, I'm sure if I'm gonna do like normal scores anymore because there's no more trials to worry about. Usually I do scores and I worry about trials and stuff, but like there's no trials to worry about. So if I were to do like a normal score, I'd probably just both of them probably be 8.5 for me, because the SLB thing kind of draws me back a little bit because it's really expensive to go to EX3. I have experienced it multiple times. It's not cheap to go to EX3 on the JP version. On the global version, it's a little easier, but not so much. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But first, let's look at her Limit Burst CG animation. Alright, here's Fina's Limit Burst, the new Fina's CG animation, which you may have seen, but I'm going to put it in this video anyways very quickly to sign off. This video is a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I'm still going to put this in, guys. So, very good animation, of course. And, you know, this is more like an anime moment Limit Burst here. It's very interesting that it looks like it's going to do damage or something, but actually it literally doesn't do any damage at all, by the way. Just so you guys know, it's not a defensive Limit Burst, even though it looks like it is. It's actually a 0 hit, just a buff. So just so you guys know that, you know, it looks like it's offensive, it's not. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below if this is a better review. I can't do this every time, of course, because I can't compare every unit to every unit all the time, but this is something I really wanted to do. So let me know in the comment section down below if this is good or bad or whatever you want it to be. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.